Hey folks, welcome back to Tommy Highway TV, home of the Common Sense Network. I, as always, am your host, Tommy Highway, and if you're a regular, I'd really appreciate you coming back by, and if you're new here, please do me a huge favor, find and hit that like and subscribe button on whatever it is, whatever device you're watching me on, and hit that for me. It really helps out my channel a lot, and I deeply appreciate it. Okay, folks, as many of you know, I'm the co-host of the UFO Man Show over at the UFO Man channel every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and really enjoy doing that. Tim and I have a wonderful channel. It's really growing thanks to a lot of wonderful people. We're actually because we were part of Contact in the Desert this year, and that's actually given us the privilege of interviewing a lot of big people in ufology, just incredible people, just people that I never thought I'd ever meet in my lifetime, much less get to interview. So it's a very cool thing. But Tim and I work so well together that we actually created a new channel, and it'll probably be released this weekend, hopefully. And it's basically Movie Rewind with Tim and Tommy. And essentially, we're going to be reviewing movies, new films, old films, you name it. Things are out there on video and Redbox and streaming, the whole nine yards. We feel like we work well together, so that's something that we're going to do. The other thing is, as many of you know, I'm an author. I've written several books, and I guess I consider myself somewhat of a storyteller. And I've actually been doing this quite a bit here lately. Over on the UFO Man channel with some very good response. In fact, I'm kind of shocked that people appreciate my the stories that I share as much as they do. So I'm going to be doing a lot of that over on the new movie channel. But I'm going to go ahead this evening, and I'm just going to use you guys as a practice story. Okay, I think you're going to like this. It's a little bit gross, but it's an absolute true story. It's something that really everybody should hear, to be honest with you. Okay. Let's set the Wayback Machine, and let's go all the way back to the year 1994. At the time, I was newly married to an idiot, and I was at work one day, and I was walking through the repair bay where they repair the trucks and vehicles and all that, and there was a piece of sheet metal that someone had kind of left hanging off of a rack, let's say. As I walked past it, I caught the corner of it. And it took a big piece of flesh out of my right thigh, about mid-thigh, and it was probably about a 1/4 inch deep. It literally scooped the flesh, okay, out of my leg. Pretty bad cut, but not, too terrible. So I went home that evening, showed it to the wife, who immediately demanded that I go down and get a tetanus shot, which that seemed pretty reasonable, okay. And as it happens, there was a clinic near right where we lived, and they were open and all that. We had insurance back in the day, all that good stuff, back when insurance was insurance. And so we go down there, and we go into this clinic, and the doctor comes in. It's this young guy. He looks like the kind of guy I would bet real money that he got his training like overseas or on an island somewhere. You got to picture a guy, real skinny guy. He's got blonde hair, all slicked back. I mean, like way too much product in his hair, even for the 90s. This guy was out there. And he looked like he was trying to pull off the Blue Lagoon look or whatever, but he just wasn't attractive enough to do that. Whatever look that this guy was going for, he wasn't making it, okay? He just wasn't pulling that off. So anyway, tell him what happened, blah, blah, blah. And he gives me a tetanus shot. So I show him my left butt cheek, essentially my hip, and he gave me a shot, and it was like, let's say the upper part of my my right butt cheek, okay, my right hip, the upper part of it. He gave me a shot, no big deal, it was nothing, no big deal. So, okay, years go by, got rid of the loosely referred to as the wife, and years went on. So the year is 2004. It's actually springtime of 2004. And I woke up one morning in my condo, and just like every other morning, I'm getting ready to go to work on just a regular day. And my right hand brushed against my right butt cheek, and a pain came through me, came over my body. And let me tell you something. It was like every cell in my body screamed at the same time. I mean, it was devastating. No idea what this was. So I finally looked back at it, and I look back at it, what I'm seeing is this hump on my right hip. I would say imagine if you were to take a baseball and cut it in half. it was just about like a half a baseball. So it was really tall, really wide, and it was bright red. It looked like a giant boil without a head on it, essentially. And it was so painful that every time my heart beat, it would like activate the nerves around that thing. It was like it was pulsating and causing me pain. Boom, 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 boom. It was unbelievable. And my first thought was, something has bit me. I've been bitten by something. But this is like late winter, early spring in Ohio. I grew up in that area, and I couldn't think of a single insect around there that could have gotten into my home and bit me and caused something like this. There just really wasn't anything that came to mind. I mean, sure, you hear about brown recluse in Ohio, but I've never seen one, and nor have I ever heard of anybody personally being affected by one. Plus, I don't think they like winter. So anyway, this thing is just going boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's driving me crazy. So the only thing I could do was I got up and I walked into the bathroom. And my bathroom, it's like upstairs. It's like a half bathroom. It's just it's the only bathroom in the condo. The condo was used to be like a little office that somebody converted a whole row of them into condominiums. So there was like 8 condominiums, and then there was like a couple of hundred offices in this little, it looked like a little Dutch village. Okay. I happen to have condo number 1. So anyway, so it's just like half bathroom, so just a toilet, a sink, and a small shower. And the only thing I could think to do was grab this thing like this, like you're trying to palm a baseball or something. Dig my fingernails, try to up underneath it, and just squeeze. So I did this. And then I realized that I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I mean, it's like, ah! I mean, just one continuous scream, like all of the air out of my lungs. This is not normal behavior for me. All right. And as I'm screaming, all of a sudden this thing bursts open, and I feel like a steady stream of hot liquid hitting the palm of my hand. Okay. And there's again, I don't mean to be gross, but there's quite a bit of this stuff. It's dripping down my hand and all that. And there's like a little bit of space in between the palm of my hand and my skin, okay, like a little pocket. Well, as I'm squeezing and all this stuff is coming out of it, it's going psss. It's actually hissing. This thing is actually making noise. It was unbelievable. It was like PSI here, where it was under pressure. All of a sudden, I felt something hard hit my palm of my hand. Tink. And then I heard something hit the linoleum. Tink, 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 tink. And it kind of rolled away. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Because, I mean, I'm already in shock because this is going on, right? It's like the hardest thing I've ever done, to be perfectly honest. And then finally, I thought, I'm going to give myself a break because I'm going to have to give this thing another squeezing, if you will. But I just needed a minute to compose myself and clean up, frankly. And there's a towel rack right there. So I grabbed the towel and I wipe my side of my hand, my side of my hip, all that. I clean up. And then I grabbed a little nurse's flashlight I had there from a girl that I was dating, left there. And I got down and I'm looking around, and then right along the grout of the shower, the white grout, there's something laying there, and that's what it is. So I go up, I pick this thing up. Guess what it is? It's about that much of a syringe. Okay? So in other words, what I'm trying to say here, folks, is that the tetanus shot that I had gotten in 1994, the guy broke the needle off in me, didn't say a word about it, and the ex-wife, I mean, she wouldn't notice if it was raining, I guess, but she's not a doctor for that matter, so maybe I'm being a little harsh. She didn't notice it either, and I carried that half a syringe in my flesh, I mean, deep. You know, I've looked at those needles, and they're pretty deep. Half this thing probably is what it was. And I'd been carrying that thing in my skin for all of those years, for nearly a decade, before it festered. Isn't that crazy? You know, and at that point, I mean, sure, I'm angry about it. I called that clinic. I mean, in fact, I lived right on top of that clinic. Like, I could have walked there in 10 minutes. It just so happens to be where I was living at the time. And this doctor hadn't worked there in years and all that. And, you know, there's nothing you can do about it. But I guess the moral of the story, folks, is that if you get an injection by a doctor or a nurse, always make sure you watch them pull the needle out and make sure they got all of it. Because in my case, they certainly didn't. Other than that, Please check me out there over on UFO Man channel. You can just go to YouTube, type in UFO Man, boom, you'll see us. Click on that. Again, we have a live show every Saturday night Eastern time. You're going to love it. Great interviews with really great people. Even if you're not into the UFO thing, I'm telling you, you'll hear things and you'll hear stories and testimony from people that will absolutely blow your mind. And we've won a lot of people over. I'll tell you that right now. Anyway, we're doing that. Also, don't forget about the movie channel coming out real soon. I want to thank everybody for coming by. And as always, folks, I am Tommy Highway. Have a great night.